Hello everybody, this is Solartiger with another solar power update video. Today is Wednesday the 10th of February and outside the weather is nice and sunny, a bit cloudy but it's bright and sunny, and the time now is 10 past 12 and it's nice and sunny outside. But anyway, today I'm going to show you about what I have bought. I bought some items to upgrade my system, so I'll take you inside and show you what I bought. Okay, I've also been a bit busy, so show you what I got. I'll show you that at the moment these solar panels are bringing in 2.7 amps. So 2.7 amps, and the battery bank's at 13.5 volts. So that's fine. That is the net charging current. I am running a few DC items, but we're still putting 2.7 amps into the battery bank. I am charging the DAB solar radio from the power box with the DC cord. So that's how that's going. Anyway, over to the workbench where I have been shopping and been a little busy. So I'll show you what I bought. Okay, I bought a MIDI fuse and holder, as you can see here. This is a 40 amp MIDI fuse. This will be going in the line from the battery bank, a main fuse. I'm starting off with 40 amp fuse, so later I may change it if necessary. So this is a fuse holder with bolt down terminals in a rugged case with a cover, and these terminals go onto the cable. I bought new cable as well, but I'll come to that soon. I will be remodeling my system in the future. I am just buying parts as I can afford, and I'll be upgrading my system and improving the wiring. I have also bought some new cable for my system. It's new battery cable. This cable is 16 millimeters squared and has a current rating of 110 amps. It is much thicker than the cable I was using before, which was 20 amp cable. But this cable is good for 110 amps. It's 16 millimeters squared and it is high flex cable. It is very flexible, which is good. It's easy to mold around corners and to handle. I have been making up some cables. This is a cable that I made. On one end it has a crimp terminal. There we go. It has a crimp on terminal. This terminal goes onto the battery bank. It has an 8 millimeter hole which fits the terminals on the battery, and as you can see it says 16/8, so 8 mil hole, and this end will fit 16 millimeter squared cable. So that's the battery end. This cable goes from the battery to the fuse, so this end has a smaller hole. There's a 6 millimeter hole on this end to fit into the MIDI fuse holder. With the MIDI fuse holder, the studs are actually 5 mil. I couldn't buy terminals with a 5 mil hole, so I bought some with a 6 mil, and I'm using a washer to ensure that there's good connection between the stud and the terminal. So that works fine. When you tighten the bolt down it doesn't move, so that's fine. So what I did to cut this cable, I thought this cable would be hard to cut, so I tried to cut it with some bolt cutters, which did work, but not to the best, wasn't the best. I found though that because this wire is very flexible and that the outer covering is actually quite soft, I was able to cut through this 16mm square cable with nothing more than a tough pair of pliers, and it cut through it quite cleanly. So I cut the cable to length, and I used a penknife to cut through the insulation, which worked quite well because the insulation is fairly soft, so that worked okay. And then you measure off how much of the insulation to cut off, and then insert it into the terminal. And I crimped these on using a vise. Put it into the vise and tighten as hard as you can, and that worked quite well. Other people do solder these on, but I'm not sure what I'm going to use to solder that on, since I only have a low powered soldering iron, but it appears to hold the cable quite well. I might wrap some insulating tape around this as well. So that's how that went. It's just a bit of an experience gathering job. Also, I am investing in some proper DC circuit breakers. This is a 10 amp circuit breaker, a double pole circuit breaker. In other words, when you switch the breaker off, it disconnects the plus and the minus. So this will be between the solar panels and the input to the charge controller. So you have at the top the plus and the minus that would go to the solar panels, and on this end the plus and minus out to the charge controller. Okay. One important thing to note with circuit breakers is that you must not use AC circuit breakers on DC circuits. They are not compatible and they are not made to do the same job. It is harder work for a circuit breaker to interrupt a DC circuit than an AC one, because as an AC circuit has a sine waveform, at a point in the cycle there is 0 volts, and that is when the circuit breaker opens the circuit, which is fine in an AC circuit, but in a DC circuit there is no 0 point because there is no waveform. The current flows at the maximum voltage and current all the time, so you need special DC breakers. Using an AC breaker can lead to a fire hazard, so don't use them. DC breakers are a bit more expensive. This 10 amp breaker cost £10.50, so not overly expensive, but better to buy the right item for the job. So this is a Merlin-Gerin Multi-9 C32H DC 10 amp circuit breaker. You can see that it's rated for up to 250 volts DC and can interrupt a current of up to 10,000 amps. So that is fine. Circuit breakers are polarity sensitive, so you must wire the plus and the minus to the respective cables and do not reverse them. But the good thing is that these circuit breakers provide overcurrent protection, and you can use them to isolate the circuit. So 2 in 1 there. This is a double pole circuit breaker. I have ordered a 32 amp version to go between the charge controller and the battery bank. So this will be replacing this, which is not the proper item for the job. This is an AC switch and fuse, and it is not made for the job, so I am buying the correct equipment a bit at a time, and I will be rewiring my system properly. I may at some point have to replace this charge controller, as I now have 300 watts of solar panels and this controller was only rated at 200 watts on a 12 volt system, and I can't see how I can also connect 16mm cable to this charge controller. So I am buying stuff gradually to do a proper job. So this is Solartiger saying thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye. Thank you.